Hey Valleyview, hope you're having a great end to your weekend. Hope it was full of physical activity. Make sure you guys got outside. It's also supposed to be really nice this week, so make sure you guys are getting outside. Go for a bike, go for a walk, do something to get active and get those 30 to 60 minutes of physical activity in every day. So this is week 2 of our movements, and we're going to keep on the theme of striking an object with an implement. Okay, so last week I had you guys practice your underhand striking with your hand. Also had you practice your overhand striking with your hand as well. So just a really quick review of that. Remember, when you're doing your underhand strike or overhand strike, there's 4 steps. Staggered feet with your opposite foot from your striking hand slightly ahead. You're going to have your feet planted. You're going to step forward, arm swing back, and follow through to your target. Okay. For an overhand, you're going to have, again, your front foot forward a little bit, staggered. Your object is going to be in your hand to start. Your hand is ready beside you. There's a toss, step, follow through. Okay. So today's focus for this week is going to be on striking and practicing 2 different things. One is hand-eye coordination, and the other one is force and accuracy. Okay, so in terms of hand-eye coordination is how well it coordinates between your eye to your hand, and that goes for catching mainly, but it can also go for striking too. So today we're going to be striking a ball or object with another implement. So I got 3 examples here for you guys that you can use to strike an object with. Last week I showed you guys the frying pan. Okay, you guys can use this to strike with for sure. Another thing that you can use is a cutting board. I just got a smaller one. If you got a bigger one, that's just fine too. And the other one is a book. Okay, this is one of my daughter's books. I had a surprise dad. It doesn't matter which book you use, as long as it's hardcover and it can sustain a ball or a pair of socks or whatever you're going to use for your striking. Okay, so the 3 skills we're going to go over today. Number 1 is going to be a strike and catch. Okay, so strike the ball and then you're going to catch it. The second skill you're going to work on is continuous striking. So you're going to be striking the ball or pair of socks as many times as you possibly can. And the third activity is going to be something that you guys can do with your parents or siblings. And it's a little game that you guys can play, kind of like a little challenge you can do to have bragging rights in the house. So to start off, what we're going to start with is I'm going to be using the cutting board. Okay, definitely can use that. Couple different things you can strike. I found a ball in my daughter's room that you can use. You can also use a pair of socks. That's just fine. Okay, so for the first one, when you're striking a ball, same rules apply from what you used with the open hand. You're going to take the ball, take what you're striking it with, and have your setup. So you're going to have staggered feet. You're going to have the ball in your opposite hand ready to strike. And from there, you're going to stand, arm swing back, step forward, and you're going to strike and catch. Okay? So again, strike and catch. One more time, strike and catch. Okay? So you're going to keep doing that until you get comfortable, you get it at a good height. If you want to go a little bit higher, that's fine too. If you want to try hitting it at different forces, that's just fine. Okay, practice, right? You can hit it a little bit higher, hit a little bit lower, and catch. All right? So that's the first one. Remember those 4 steps I taught you, right? Opposite foot forward, staggered a little bit, step, swing, and follow through. All right? So that's the first one. Now, second, this is going to be a little bit of a competition you can have with your family if you want to, but you're going to see how many times you can keep striking that object and keep it in the air for. Okay? So what you would do is, same thing, you would have the ball in your opposite hand, you'd have your feet staggered, bring it up, and when you strike it, now you're just going to try to keep it up as long as you can, okay? Keep your eye on the ball at all times. You know you'll be doing a good job if your feet aren't moving too much. If you find yourself going all over the room like this, focus on controlling it a little bit better. You don't have to hit it that hard, right? All you have to do is just give it a little bit of force and it'll pop up for you. Now, obviously, the harder you hit it, the harder it is to keep it in the air. So to start out, I would recommend just short bounces to start and go from there, okay? So that's what you're gonna practice first. If you wanna switch to your backhand too, so if you're hitting it, you can switch to backhand, forehand, that's just fine too. Okay, backhand, forehand, all the way through. Okay, if you want to try to challenge yourself. So the last activity is going to be striking at a target. Now you guys can see that I have two different sized targets that I'm going to be striking the ball at or object. Okay, so I got a grocery bin here, or a laundry bin here. And I also have my daughter's little tiny laundry bin here. Now, obviously, when you guys are striking at the targets, you can kind of switch up what size of target you want to hit at. Maybe when you're first starting out, you might want to try to hit or strike the ball into a bigger hamper like that. When you get a little bit better, you might want to try something a little bit smaller. You can even go to a smaller pot that you have in your house and strike it into that once you get really good at it, okay? So the challenge I'm gonna offer you guys is this, okay? So you're gonna have 1 minute. You can do this with a brother or just by yourself, it's up to you, or sister or mom or dad. And what you're gonna do is stand a certain ways back, and you can kind of pick if you wanna stand a little closer at first just to get used to it, that's fine. You can also move back and challenge yourself a little bit. And what you wanna do is try to see how many strikes underhand you can get in to the bin in 1 minute. Okay, so you have 1 minute to get it into that bin as many times as you can. So what you would do is you would come back here, make sure your form is right, step forward, and I got it in. You would run up, come back, and you would try again. Now I missed, that's okay. Run and get it, come on back, and try again, okay? Now, if you want to challenge yourself even more, what you can do is, this is very difficult for a lot of people, is switching hands, right? So switching the hand that you're striking the ball with. So just like throwing left-handed, it can be a little bit awkward, but eventually you want to get to a point where either striking the ball left or right feels comfortable for you. Okay, so those three things we're going to work on. Number one is striking it with an apparatus and catching it, okay? So strike and catch. The second skill is striking it and then see how many times you can keep it up in the air. And the third one is the competition with the two bins. See how many times you can strike the ball into the bin in 1 minute, okay? I look forward to seeing your guys' videos. Again, it doesn't have to be the full minute on every, for the challenge. You can just show a little clip of you practicing striking it in there. Same with you can do all three of them at once, right? Like you can do the strike and catch, and then do the continuous striking for a while, and then go and try to strike into a bin, and that's just fine, you guys, okay? So I look forward to seeing your guys' movements this week. Practice working on that hand-eye coordination and accuracy. All right, you guys have a great week. Keep fit, guys.